Hi, third grade. This is the lesson for Friday, and this is 4.4. So those are going to coordinate with your pages in your workbook that go with the page 221 and 222. We will put those up on as Google Slides. You can use your Railbook to do some drawing and use your code cards to help you as well. So today we're going to be talking about some scrambled place values. And so you're going to start with some numbers like this, where they have the numbers in expanded form, but it's going to be all spread out. So we have 20 plus 7 plus 400. Well, we know that that's not, if we were to place them on top of each other, that would probably not work, right? So we are going to place them so that they are in the correct order. So on the right-hand side, we always have the lower value. So 7 for 7 ones, and then we're going to move over to our next one, which is our tens, so for 20 and 400. So originally, again, it was like this, and so you might see it in your workbook as 20 plus 7 plus 400 equals, and then so you are going to take those numbers and put them in the correct order, which would be this, which would be 400 plus 20 plus 7, which will give you a total of 427, which is our standard form. So here's our expanded, here's our standard, where you keep going through that kind of idea. 7 standing for 7 ones, 22 standing for the 20, and 4 for the 400. When we put it on top of each other, we should have that same value that you see right here in the standard number, 427. So that's one example. We're going to do one more example of some mixed numbers. And so here we have them written down like this. And so this would be 6 plus 50 plus 200. And we know that that's not the right order that we want. So again, smallest value to the right, move these around. That's going to give you 200 plus 50 plus 6 as your expanded form, but we know that we want the standard form. So we are going to make sure that we place those in our right order to give us our standard form of 256. Remember, each of those numbers stands for a value. 6 stands for 6 ones, 5 stands for 50, 2 stands for 200. That's the value of 2 is 200 in this case. So if I asked you what value the digit 5 was, you'd say 50. If I asked you what the value of 6 was, you'd say 6 ones. If I asked you what the value of 2 was, you'd say 200. All right, so you're going to have some problems like that you're going to work on, and that's how those work. Use your secret code cards if you'd like, or you can you don't have to if you don't want to. All right, so we're also going to do some more word problems using, again, the ideas of our secret code cards and also our place value drawings. So in this one here, it says the school received 22 boxes of dictionaries. Wow, that's a lot of boxes of dictionaries. Each box held 10 dictionaries. How many dictionaries did the school receive? So we have done some multiplication, but we're going to go ahead and start with first the idea of thinking about what 22 boxes of 10 looks like. So we're going to use our place value drawings first. So we're going to count up so 22 boxes. So each box has 10. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that would be my 22 boxes of 10s. Each 10 is represented by the stick, and we have 22 boxes. So we counted up 22 of them. So now we're going to look at this and we're going to say, we could count by 10s all the way up or to get our last value, or we could use our idea of 10 tens equals 100. 10 tens also equals 100. So if I see this is 100 plus another 100 plus now I have 20 here, and I add them together, I will have 200 20. I don't have any ones because there aren't any extra dictionaries. 220. I could also mostly, I'm sure when you saw this problem you thought just multiply. So we could also do 22 times 10 equals, and which is what we just did. That's just the drawn version. 22 times 10, we know when we multiply by 10, that's 22 times 1, but they're really tens, so we add the 0 at the end there to make sure that it's 220. That these are 10 groups of 22 versus one group of 22. And then we could write dictionaries because we need to write our label, as always. All right, so the next problem here, it's a little dark, sorry. Bob picked 532 peaches and put them in baskets. Each basket held 10 peaches. How many baskets did he fill? How many peaches were left over? So I'm going to use my secret code cards to help me with this one. I used a place value drawing for the last one, but I'm going to go ahead and use my secret code cards. So I found my secret code cards that make up the number 532. There they are. And then I'm going to turn them over so I can get I don't want to draw all of these peaches. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the back of my secret code cards, and that's going to help me solve my problem. So Bob picked 532 peaches and put them in baskets. Each basket held 10 peaches. So I'm going to look at all of those groups of 10 here and think about each of those sticks is 10 peaches, and I want to know how many baskets he had. So this 100 is you can't see them. This 100 is represented by, that's 10 different baskets. So I can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each of those is a basket. Each of those lines is a basket. So I'm going to count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 baskets. Plus, I see 1, 2, 3 more baskets. So that's 53 baskets are filled. I can also look at that number, that 532. And I can just look at that part that's right here and think about how many tens is that. 53 tens. Don't leave out that ones, but same, each 100 is 10 tens. So I can just look at that part there and know that there are 53 different groups of 10 there. And then the question says how many peaches were left over. Well, here was all those baskets, here are all those baskets, and then there's 2 cute little peaches that are left over. Maybe Bob gets to eat those too, since he can't put them in the baskets, I hope. All right, so we're going to take those away for a minute. Now we're going to use that same idea that we did for 438, but now we're using 100 beads. So now we're looking at them, instead of we're looking at tens, we're looking at hundreds. So Sarah had 438 beads. She used 100 beads to make a necklace. How many necklaces could she make with her beads, and how many beads were left over? So I could take my secret code cards out, but I'm going to try this one without the secret code cards because we don't have those with us at all times. So I'm going to look at the number and think about how that number breaks down to an expanded 400 plus 30 plus 8. And I'm going to look at it that way. And I'm also just going to look at it as standard form, but I'm also going to look at it as expanded form. So if I'm looking for 100 beads per necklace, I'm going to look at the hundreds section. I'm also going to look at the value that's in the hundreds place. And so here's my 400. That 4 means 400, doesn't it? So if I have 400 beads and there's 100 beads for each one, there's 4. I'm going to have 4 necklaces. And then it says, how many were left over? Well, if I have to have 100 beads to make a necklace, 30 beads and 8 beads will not be enough to make my another necklace. So my second part would be 38 beads were left over. So again, I'm focusing on that hundreds part, knowing that there are 4 hundreds available, 38 little leftovers. All right, so friends, we practiced a bunch of different pages here. So we drew some and used our modeling mathematics with drawings. we used our secret code cards and looked at the backs and counted out how many 10s there were. And we also just looked, and for this one, we just looked at the bottom one, we just looked at the number and used an expanded form to be able to come up with our answers. So there are some different methods you can use to solve these problems. So you're going to work on the Google Slides that are with this lesson, and you're going to, don't forget to turn it in using that that other tab to give me some, to be able to turn it in so that I can see them. If I see that you've had trouble with something, I might return it so you can look at it again. But this page is a lot like the page that we did yesterday. All right, friends, if you have any questions, you know you can always email me. I hope things are going well. I hope your secret code cards are fun, and I will see you later.